Listen to me. The reason so many people start strong but never finish is because they confuse motivation with discipline. Motivation is that fire you feel when you first get inspired, when you hear something powerful, when you watch a video that gets you hyped. But the problem with motivation is it's temporary. It comes and goes. You're fired up on Monday morning, but by Wednesday life hits you, stress hits you, disappointment hits you, and suddenly the fire is gone. That's why you can't build your life, your dreams, or your destiny on motivation alone. It won't hold you. It won't carry you when you're tired, when you're broke, when you're discouraged. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is different. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I don't care what's happening around me. I don't care if it's convenient or not. I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It moves because it's committed. And that's the difference between people who talk about what they want and people who actually achieve it. One group depends on how they feel. The other depends on what they've decided. When you live off motivation, you're at the mercy of your emotions. You're strong when you feel good, but you collapse when you feel bad. But discipline makes you steady. Discipline keeps you consistent. Discipline is like gravity. It keeps you grounded, no matter what storms are moving around you. And the truth is, most of us don't fail because we don't know what to do. We fail because we refuse to do it consistently. We fail because the moment we don't feel like it, we let ourselves off the hook. There's a reason why some people, no matter how many obstacles they face, still rise. It's not because life is easier for them. It's not because they're more talented or because they always feel motivated. It's because they have trained themselves to do what they said they would do, no matter how they feel. They've made discipline their foundation. They've forced themselves to show up day after day, long after the excitement wore off. You have to understand something. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is a sprint, but discipline is a marathon. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire burning when the wind is against you. Anybody can start, but only those who are disciplined finish. Think about it. How many times have you been excited to start something new? Maybe it was the gym, maybe it was a business, maybe it was writing a book. At the start, you couldn't wait. You had energy, you had passion, but then, a week in, 2 weeks in, the feelings faded, the soreness came. The obstacles showed up, and what happened? You quit. Not because you weren't capable, not because you didn't want it, but because you were depending on motivation instead of discipline. Discipline is waking up at 5 in the morning to work on your dream even when you went to bed at midnight. Discipline is getting that workout in when your body is screaming for rest. Discipline is making that call when you're nervous, sending that email when you're tired, studying when your friends are out having fun. Discipline doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about your commitment. I need you to understand, discipline is freedom. Most people think discipline is a prison, that it's restrictive, that it's holding you back. No, discipline sets you free. Discipline means you're not controlled by your feelings, your moods, or your circumstances. Discipline means you're not a slave to laziness, procrastination, or fear. Discipline means you control your habits, and because of that, you control your future. Let me tell you, the people who live extraordinary lives aren't the ones who had the most motivation. They're the ones who forced themselves to keep going when the feeling was gone. They're the ones who showed up on the days it was boring, the days it was painful, the days no one was watching. They did it anyway, and over time that discipline stacked up. It built habits, it built character, it built results. So, if you want to change your life, stop waiting to feel like it. Stop waiting for the mood to be right, for the timing to be perfect. That day will never come. You don't rise to the level of your feelings. You fall to the level of your discipline. Every single day, you've got to make a choice. Am I going to move because I feel like it? Or am I going to move because I said I would? The truth is, greatness is boring most of the time. It's not the highlight reels you see on social media. It's the quiet hours when nobody's watching, when there's no applause, when there's no immediate payoff. It's the consistency of showing up over and over again that makes you great, and the only way you get there is through discipline. So when you wake up tomorrow and you don't feel like grinding, when you don't feel like showing up, when you don't feel like putting in the work, remember this: feelings fade, but discipline lasts. Discipline is what carries you across the finish line when motivation quit halfway. Discipline is the difference between almost making it and actually making it. And if you're serious about your goals, serious about your future, serious about becoming the best version of yourself, then you can't afford to be ruled by motivation. You've got to be ruled by discipline, because at the end of the day, discipline beats motivation every single time. The mistake so many people make is that they think consistency is about these big, dramatic moments, like you're going to have one day where you do something so massive it changes everything. That's not how it works. Change doesn't happen in one giant leap. It happens in the small, quiet, daily decisions. It's the habits, Miss Conway, when nobody is CL America, PPING people, when nobody even notices. Those are the things that stack up and turn into greatness. See, we want the spotlight without the process. We want the harvest without planting the seeds every single day. But life doesn't work like that. If you want a different future, you've got to commit to the small actions that don't look like they matter at first. You've got to be willing to do the boring stuff, the repetitive stuff, the stuff that doesn't give you an instant reward. Because it's those little bricks you lay every day that build the house. When you look at someone who's successful, who's mastered their craft, who's living at a level you admire, understand this: it wasn't one huge act that got them there. It wasn't luck. It wasn't one magical opportunity. It was the accumulation of years of small habits that compounded into something powerful. Every day they showed up. Every day they put in a little more work, and over time, those little choices turned into massive results. That's why I tell people, stop waiting for some breakthrough moment. Stop waiting for the perfect chance. The secret is not in waiting, it's in doing. It's in the repetitions. Every call you make in your business, every set you put in at the gym, every page you read in that book, every hour you study when you'd rather be out, it's all adding up. And even though you might not see the results right away, trust me, it's stacking, it's building, nothing is wasted. The problem is we underestimate the small stuff because it doesn't give us that instant dopamine hit. We live in a world where everybody wants quick, fast money, fast results, fast fame, but the truth is, consistency is about delayed gratification. It's about doing the things today that won't pay off until tomorrow, or next month, or maybe next year. That's why so many people quit. They can't see the progress yet. They don't understand that every rep matters, every habit matters, every choice matters. I need you to think about this. If you take one step every day in the same direction, where will you be a year from now? You'll be 365 steps closer, and while most people are taking a step forward and then 2 steps back, or running in circles chasing motivation, you'll be steadily moving toward your destination. That's the power of daily habits. Let me be real with you. Small things done consistently are more powerful than big things done occasionally. Anybody can go to the gym once and work out hard. Anybody can pull an all, niter one time to cram for a test. Anybody can put in effort for a week, but can you do it daily? Can you commit to it when it's no longer exciting, when it's just routine, when the results are invisible? Because that's where the separation happens. That's where the winners are made. Think about a drop of water hitting a rock. One drop doesn't do anything. 10 drops don't do anything. But 1,000 drops, 100,000 drops over time, that water carves a hole into solid rock. That's what your habits do. They don't look like much at first, but over time they reshape your life. And here's the truth. Habits don't just shape your results, they shape your identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're building confidence because you know you can trust yourself to follow through. And the more you repeat those habits, the more they become who you are. It's not just something you do anymore. It's who you are. You don't just run, you're a runner. You don't just study, you're disciplined. You don't just save money, you're responsible. But if you keep skipping, if you keep quitting, if you keep letting yourself off the hook, you're also shaping your identity. You're telling yourself you can't be trusted. You're training yourself to settle, and that's dangerous because it builds a pattern that's hard to break. That's why these daily choices matter so much. They're not just about what you accomplish. They're about who you become. I want you to stop looking for shortcuts and start building systems. Systems are what carry you when motivation fades. Systems are habits repeated over time until they become automatic. When you brush your teeth, you don't need motivation. You don't need discipline. It's automatic. You've built it into your system. That's how your success habits have to be. They have to be something you do without even thinking about it, because you've forced yourself to be consistent until it became natural. Don't underestimate the power of one small choice done every day. Read 10 pages a day, and in a year you've read over 3,000 pages. That's not motivation. That's discipline and consistency stacking small wins. Write for 30 minutes a day, and in a year you've got a book. Train for an hour a day, and in a year your body is completely different. But it all comes down to whether you're willing to commit to the daily habits that look small but add up to something life-changing. So hear me. Don't chase the big moments. Don't wait for inspiration. Focus on the little things, the unglamorous things, the consistent things, because that's where your future is being built, one habit at a time, one day at a time, one choice at a time. Small daily habits build big results. Your future isn't built in one day. Your future is being built every single day, brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. People think destiny is this huge event that just happens out of nowhere. Like one day you wake up and suddenly you're successful, suddenly you're disciplined, suddenly you're everything you dreamed of being, but that's not how it works. Your future is just the accumulation of what you repeat. Who you are right now, in this very moment, is the result of the habits you've been practicing for years. And who you'll be 5 years from now will be the result of the habits you choose today. If you look at your life right now, everything about it is a reflection of your daily choices. Your health, your relationships, your money, your minds. And it's all connected to what you consistently do. The problem is we lie to ourselves. We say, one day I'm going to change. One day I'm going to get serious. One day I'm going to get disciplined. But listen to me. If you can't start today, you won't magically start tomorrow. Because tomorrow isn't a date on the calendar. It's just another today. And if you keep repeating the same habits, you'll keep creating the same life. That's why consistency is so important. Every action you take is a vote. When you wake up early and grind, you're voting for the disciplined version of you. When you hit snooze and roll back over, you're voting for the lazy version of you. When you go to the gym, you're voting for the healthy version of you. When you skip it, you're voting for the weaker version of you. And every day, every choice, you are either strengthening the person you want to become or the person you're trying to escape. The scary part is most people don't even realize they're shaping their future with these small habits. They think their future is going to be defined by one big moment, one big opportunity, one stroke of luck. But no, your future is being written in the everyday patterns of your life. You can't live sloppy every day and then expect excellence to show up tomorrow. You can't keep quitting and then expect to be a finisher. You can't be inconsistent and expect stability. Whatever you repeat, that's what you become, and I'm telling you, your future is too important to gamble with. You can't keep throwing away days, because days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and months turn into years. And then one day you wake up and realize you built a future you didn't even want. You didn't fail because you didn't have talent. You didn't fail because you didn't have opportunities. You failed because you repeated the wrong habits until they became who you were. Look, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. You can dream as big as you want. You can write vision boards, you can set goals, you can pray for change. But if your daily habits don't align with those dreams, nothing is going to happen. Because your future doesn't care about what you say, it cares about what you do consistently. Think about an athlete. Everybody wants to shine under the lights. Everybody wants to hit the game, winning shot or score the winning touchdown. But those moments are won long before the lights come on. They're won in the hours of practice, the repetition, the boring drills, the conditioning, the times nobody is watching. The game just reveals what you've been repeating. Life works the same way. The big moments don't define you. They expose you. They show whether or not your habits have been preparing you for the opportunity. So ask yourself, what are you repeating right now? Because repetition is building your reality. If you're repeating excuses, then excuses are going to be your future. If you're repeating procrastination, then procrastination is going to be your future. But if you're repeating discipline, if you're repeating hard work, if you're repeating focus, then those are the seeds you're planting, and your harvest will reflect that. You can't cheat consistency. You can't fake repetition. The person you're becoming is a mirror of what you do daily. And I'm telling you, this is not about perfection. You don't have to be flawless. You don't have to win every battle. But you do have to keep showing up. You do have to keep putting in the work, because it's not the one workout that changes you. It's the 100 workouts. It's not the one study session. It's the thousands of hours. It's not the one choice to get up early. It's the years of getting up early. And let me say this, your future self is depending on you. There's a version of you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who will either thank you or hate you for the habits you're building today. You're either building a future where that version of you is proud, standing tall, living with freedom and purpose, or you're building a future where that version of you is trapped, stuck, and disappointed, and the crazy part, you decide, nobody else decides for you. So stop living like your actions don't matter. Stop living like skipping today won't affect tomorrow, because it will. Every time you slack, you're reinforcing a weaker future. Every time you push through, you're reinforcing a stronger one. The future isn't waiting to happen. It's being written by the choices you're making right now. If you want a different future, change what you repeat. Stop quitting on yourself. Stop letting comfort win. Stop giving your future away to bad habits. Make the decision that every day, in small ways, you're going to live like the person you want to become. Because your future depends on what you repeat. Let me be real with you. Consistency is not supposed to feel good in the beginning. People want it to be easy. They want it to feel natural right away. But that's not how growth works. Growth hurts. Discipline hurts. Change hurts. And that's why most people stop before they even get started. Because the moment it feels uncomfortable, the moment it feels awkward, the moment it feels painful, they quit. But the truth is, if you want to become consistent, you've got to force yourself through that stage where it feels unnatural until it becomes a part of who you are. You ever notice how the first day you try something new, it feels heavy? You go to the gym after not working out for a long time, and your body is sore, your arms are weak, your lungs are on fire. You don't feel strong, you feel broken. But if you keep showing up, if you keep forcing yourself past that discomfort, something changes. The weight doesn't get lighter, you get stronger, the run doesn't get shorter, you get faster, and what was once painful starts to feel normal. What was once impossible starts to feel natural. That's the process of forcing yourself until it becomes part of your DNA. See, the problem with a lot of people is they want comfort and growth at the same time. They want to stay in their safe zone, but also expect their life to level up. That's impossible. Comfort is the enemy of growth. You don't grow in the place where you're comfortable. You grow when you're stretched. You grow when you're pushed. Adapt. And that MEINS, you've got E to BBEKS to desolve. When you force yourself past comfort, you teach your mind and your body that it's capable of more than it thought. You break limits, you expand capacity, you realize that the boundaries you thought were real were only in your head. And once you break past one level, the next level becomes possible. But if you never push yourself, if you never force yourself, you'll live your whole life stuck at the same level, wondering why nothing ever changes. Let's be honest, nobody wakes up naturally disciplined. Nobody wakes up naturally consistent. Every single person who has mastered consistency started by forcing themselves. They didn't want to wake up early, but they did. They didn't want to go to practice, but they did. They didn't want to put in the extra hours, but they did. They forced themselves until it stopped being a battle and started being a habit, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to outlast the resistance, because resistance always shows up. That little voice that says, you can skip today, you've done enough, you'll start tomorrow. That voice never goes away. The only way to defeat it is to push past it so many times that it loses power over you. At first, forcing yourself feels like war, but the more you fight, the easier it gets. Eventually, what was once a struggle becomes a lifestyle. Think about when you first learned how to drive. It felt overwhelming, checking mirrors, adjusting seats, pressing the gas, hitting the brakes, staying in your lane. Your hands were sweaty, your heart was racing, and every move took effort, but now you don't even think about it. You just drive. Why? Because repetition turned it into something automatic. That's what consistency does. When you force yourself long enough, the hard things become normal things, and when they become normal, that's when you unlock a new level of success. But here's the truth. You will never get to that point if you keep quitting when it gets uncomfortable. If you stop at discomfort, you'll always live beneath your potential. The people you admire, the people you look up to, they aren't special. They just learned how to live in that space where others quit. They made friends with discomfort. They learned to push through pain. And because of that, they built a version of themselves most people will never meet. I need you to get this in your spirit. Comfort will never give you the life you want. If you want consistency, if you want results, if you want transformation, you've got to force yourself to keep going until it becomes second nature. You've got to push through the pain until it turns into strength. You've got to endure the discipline until it turns into freedom. And don't get it twisted, forcing yourself doesn't mean you enjoy it at first. You may hate it, you may resent it. You may drag your feet while you do it. But if you stay with it, if you keep forcing yourself to show up, eventually you'll look back and realize that the thing you once hated is now the thing you can't live without. The gym that once felt like torture becomes your sanctuary. The early mornings that once felt like punishment become your advantage. The grind that once felt like a burden becomes your lifestyle. That's when you know you've crossed over. That's when you know you've transformed, because it's no longer something you're forcing. It's just who you are. And when you reach that point, nobody can take it from you. No circumstance, no feeling, no setback can stop you, because you've built it into your identity. But the price of getting there is simple. You've got to stop running from discomfort and start forcing yourself through it. You've got to make a decision that no matter how you feel, no matter how heavy it seems, no matter how inconvenient it looks, you will push. You will stretch, you will keep going until what was once foreign becomes familiar, because at the end of the day, consistency doesn't come from comfort. It comes from forcing yourself until it becomes natural.